congruence and similarity. So there are three subtopics or three main learning objectives under this chapter. Okay, so we will discuss the first portion of this chapter, which is congruence. Okay, so today we will focus on congruence. Okay, so the word is probably new for you, but congruence means, you can say, like in mathematics, similarity is not same congruence. Similarity, जैसे हम fractions में कहते हैं ना, equal fractions and equivalent fractions. Okay, so what are equal fractions? Which are exactly the same. Okay, like if one fraction is 2 by 3, so other must also be 2 by 3. Okay, so these are called equal fractions. So equivalent are which are, there is some type of similarity in the function. Like for example, if one fraction is 2 by 3 and another is, let's say, 20 by 30. So these are called equivalent fractions because they don't look like same, but their meaning is same, right? So same is the case here. Congruence is when the two shapes or two polygons are exactly the same. Okay, their shape and their size both are equal. Okay, so ये congruence and similarity both are the properties of polygon. Okay, they are for polygons. Okay, for 2D shapes and for 3D shapes as well. We will do a topic in the end of this chapter where we will see the real life examples, okay, of congruence and similarity. So right now we will focus on polygons for the first two topics, right? So I'm going to show you the chapter. It is chapter number 8 of NSM 2. So copy. So if you want it again, I will share it again. Okay. So congruence is basically, just look at this. So in this example, you can see a scissor in front of you, right? And what's happening to that scissor? Can anyone tell me what's happening? So are we changing the scissor or are we changing the object? No, we are not changing the object. We are just rotating it. Okay. So to get many different types or many different images. Okay. So are you able to see the example on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
It's updated now. So there are 5 different pairs of scissors. And what is there, like how these 5 figures are similar, because they are all the same. It's the same scissor which is there in all the 5 figures. So then what makes them different from each other? So it's the 3 properties which are involved in congruence. So what are those 3 properties? It's translation, rotation, and reflection. ठीक है, ये आपने पहले से पढ़ी हुई है, reflection. ठीक है, so translation, reflection is like a mirror. Okay, mirror object. Okay, translation is when you move an object, same object is moved on the board, for example. And the third property is rotation. Okay, rotation is rotating along the axis. Okay, so now let's look at the definition. So congruence, 2 figures are called congruent figures if they have exact same shape and size. Okay, their shape is same and their size is also same. So those 2 figures are called congruent figures. Okay, so now what will make them different? Like how, if they are having the same shape and size, so then how we will say they are 2 different figures? So we will use these 3 properties. We will either translate or rotate or reflect that shape, okay, to get a new figure, just like we did here in the example, right? So what is the definition of congruence? If the 2 figures are having same shape and size, so those 2 figures are called congruent figures. Okay, so then how we are going to change those figures? Like what should we do to make change in the figure? Okay, so we will do 3 types of movements we can do. We can either take reflection of that figure, or we can rotate it, or we can reflect it. Okay? Translation, rotation, reflection, these we will use. So there are 2 types of questions in this exercise, in first exercise. So either you need to prove that the 2 given figures are congruent, or it is given in the question that the given figures are congruent, you need to find out unknown angles or sides. Okay, so in this topic, there would be 2 types of question. Okay, so before we go to exercise, there are 2 types of questions. One is that you need to prove congruency. Okay, there are 2 figures given to you. There are 2 figures given to you, and you need to prove that those two figures are congruent figures. Okay, they are having the same shape and size. Same shape and size is not a mathematical statement. So how we are going to prove it? We will prove that they are having same angles and same sides. Okay, so congruency कैसे prove करेंगे? Same angles and same sides, तभी वो एक जैसी shapes बन जाएंगी. ठीक है, same sides. So ये हम prove करेंगे if we want to prove congruency. अच्छा, the second type of question would be that it is given that two figures are congruent, so you need to find out unknown angles or sides. ठीक है, ये दो चीजें हमारे पास, ये दो क्वेश्चंस होंगे इस एक्सरसाइज में. ठीक है, you need to read the question carefully, that either they're asking you to prove the congruency or they're asking you to find out the unknown angle, right? So now moving on to the next. So before we go forward, so let's solve this question. So which shapes are congruent? कौन सी shapes हैं जो एक ही जैसी लग रही हैं? So how we are going to do that? So how we are going to do that? We can find out the length and the width probably, and we can say which figures are congruent. So you can see if I zoom it a little bit, then the first line, they are all rectangles. If you count these small boxes, so these are 8, width is 8, and the length is 13. So here rectangles 13 by 8 rectangles. So if you look closely, they are all same rectangles except for E. So E is not congruent to all the other rectangles. So we will say A, B, C, and D are congruent rectangles. ठीक है, congruent का मतलब यही है, they are having same shape and size. So then you need to tell me this, what makes them different from each other? Although they are having same shape and size, their area and perimeter is same, right? So what makes them different? So can anyone tell me what is the movement of A and B? A और B जो rectangle है, इनके बीच में कौन सी movement है? Is it translation, rotation, or reflection? A से B में. Anyone? What is happening here? How A is changed into B?
Translation.
Translation. ठीक है? Translation is when you move an object on the grid. ठीक है? जैसे for example when you play chess, so you move your if you're moving king, so king will be placed on any other box of the grid. Okay, so but the object will still be the same. Okay, you're not changing the piece, you are just moving it on the grid. Okay, so that is what is happening here. So now what's happening here? How B is changed into C?
Rotation.
How B is changed into C? So this is called rotation. This is the same object, but we are rotating it, right? So now how C is changed into D, this is again a rotation. Okay. So the same figure is there, but we have applied different types of movements on them. Okay, so that is what congruency is. The figure is same. They are all 13 by 8 figures, 13 by 8 rectangles. So their volume, their area and perimeter are same. Okay, so what makes them different from each other? Their position. Okay, so now moving on to the second. So you can see this cannot be a congruent figure because this shape, ठीक है? So size is different, so it's not congruent, different size. ठीक है? अब आप देखिए F, H, and L, they are not right angle triangles, but J is a right angle triangle, so it is having different shape. Okay, it's also not congruent. So we will say F, H, and I are congruent figures. Okay, so can anyone tell me what makes H different from F?
Rotation.
So rotation भी कह सकते हैं, और rotation या reflection तो नहीं हो सकती. rotation, reflection is F from I. अगर आप गौर करें तो F से I, if you look closely, it's a reflection. Okay, so different movements are there. So these are the congruent figures, same sizes. Okay, this is just an abstract value. This can come in the paper for 1 or 2 marks. Okay, so that they can check if you have the idea. Okay, so now look at this one, a better figure probably. So can you tell which shapes are congruent? Any one pair?
B and E.
B and E. Okay, so which are congruent? First of all, B and E. Both are pentagons. Both looks exactly the same. Same shape, same size. Anyone else? And what's happening in B and E? It is just probably the translation. Okay, the same figure is there. वैसे भी ये regular figure है. So even if it is rotated, we cannot find out unless the
We
values
can
are not
also
kept.
give a reflection.
Reflection भी कह सकते हैं because they are regular ना, we cannot say it is rotated, translated or it's a very regular shape. ठीक है जी नरमीन बेटे.
A and H.
A and H. A and H are also very symmetric shapes. You can see this is just like a pentagon, regular pentagon. ये perfect star बना हुआ है. So इसमें भी हम नहीं कह सकते if it is translation, rotation or reflection because तीनों cases में it would be the same movement. What about like any other shape? What about this D?
Ma'am, F and C.
Abdul Qadir, what? D is congruent to G.
Ma'am, F,
D and
F is congruent to C.
F is congruent to C. Very good. So F and C are congruent. Now they are not the symmetric shapes. So can you tell me what is the movement? How they are congruent? Like out of the three movement we know, इसमें क्या हो रहा है?
Ma'am, rotation. Rotation.
Rotation. We can say rotation. Yes. So sometimes there are two movement mixed also. So हम ये भी कह सकते हैं probably reflection and translation. ठीक है? So when you will go ahead in the senior classes, this is very important topic. Apart from congruence and similarity, ये जो आपकी geometrical movement होती है ना, जो चार types of movements हैं, translation, rotation, reflection, and you will learn the fourth one also. So ये सारी जो होती है ना, these work together or this is a very important topic of O levels. ठीक है? So any other pair. So is D congruent to any other shapes? Then is D congruent to any other shape? D किसके जैसा लगता है आपको? D triangle जो है.
I.
I, that's right. I, very good. Any other shape? G also probably. ठीक है? G is also a similar shape, right angle triangle और बिल्कुल एक ही जैसी लग रही है. ठीक है? So now what is the reflection, like what is the movement between G and I? We can say it's a reflection, है ना? So what is the movement between D and I? It can be rotation, translation also. ठीक है? So I hope this concept is clear. So now it's not that always these kind of shapes would be there. So we will learn about mathematical shapes as well. Just like here, you can see quadrilateral ABC is translated, and now it is called A dash, B dash, C dash, and D dash. Okay, so this is a congruence example of congruent figure. Okay, so now mathematically, if I define congruency, so two polygons are called are congruent if their corresponding angles are equal and their corresponding sides are equal. So what does this word mean, corresponding? Can anyone guess what does this word mean? Corresponding sides and angles. Why corresponding? Why it is written corresponding sides and angles? So for example, if this angle is 45 degree and this is, I'm trying to like ignore my, like assuming that these two figures are congruent figures. So if these two triangles are given to you and they are asking you, okay, do you think these triangles are congruent? So you need to figure out कि corresponding angles का मतलब ये है कि for example if this is 3 centimeter and 5 centimeter and this is also 3 centimeter and 5 centimeter. So apparently it looks like these two triangles are same triangles because there is 3 centimeter here and here as well, 5 centimeter here and here as well, and 60 and 45 is there. ठीक है, लेकिन corresponding angles का मतलब ये होता है कि the angle which is in between 3 centimeter and 5 centimeter must be same. ठीक है, so that is what is the meaning of corresponding angles. ठीक है, so जो एंगल दो साइड्स के बीच में बन रहा है वो सेम होना चाहिए, या दो एंगल्स के बीच में दो साइड है वो भी सेम होनी चाहिए. अब आप अगर गौर से देखें तो 60 और 45 के बीच में 5 सेंटीमीटर है, यहाँ भी 60 और 45 के बीच में 5 सेंटीमीटर. दिस इज फाइन. लेकिन इफ यू लुक क्लोजली 3 सेंटीमीटर और 5 सेंटीमीटर के बीच का एंगल इज 45, लेकिन यहाँ पर 3 और 5 सेंटीमीटर के बीच का एंगल इज 60. सो ये आपके करस्पॉन्डिंग एंगल्स जो हैं वो इक्वल नहीं है. करस्पॉन्डिंग का मतलब होता है कि द एंगल व्हिच इज फॉर्म्ड बिटवीन द टू साइड्स, ठीक है, टू सिमिलर साइड्स, दैट मस्ट बी सेम. ठीक है, सो these two figures are not congruent figures. Why? Because we will write down the reason that the corresponding angle is not same, is not equal. Okay, this is how we are going to justify the answer. So now moving on to the example 2. So you need to tell me, I'm hiding the solution for now. So they are asking you to, अब इसका मतलब है कि we really need to find out the corresponding sides first. ठीक है, so we will see what kind of movement is made in the figure, and then we will highlight the corresponding sides to see if they are the sides and the angles are equal. So now let's look at this one. So this is the symbol, these three lines. जैसे हमारे पास symbol है ना, this is a symbol of equal sign. ठीक है, this is a symbol of approximation, we all know that. So then these three lines, अगर ये आपको कहीं नजर आती हैं, तो this is the symbol of congruence. ठीक है, congruency या congruent figures. ठीक है, so congruent figures का लफ्ज आते साथ ही आपके ज़हन में फौरन क्या बात आनी चाहिए? Same shape, same size, corresponding angles and sides must be equal. So they are saying given that ABCD is congruent to WXI. अब सिर्फ ये लिखा होने से आपके ज़हन में ये चीज आ जानी चाहिए कि there is no question. They are telling you that these two shapes are congruent shapes. So their corresponding angles and sides are same. ठीक है, are equal. तो आपने इसको ज़हन में रखना है. There is no question in that now. अब आपका काम क्या है? आपने सिर्फ ये देखना है which side is corresponding side and which angle is corresponding angle. So now let's look at this. Angle ABC. So angle ABC is same as angle WXY. ये इसके equal है. ठीक है. So can anyone tell me what is the movement in these two shapes? ये दो shapes के बीच में क्या movement हुई है? Is it translation, reflection, or rotation? Anyone? What is the movement in between these two quadrilaterals?
Reflection.
It's reflection. Okay, so reflection may all the angles are opposite. So this angle is same as this one, right? And this angle is same as this one. Okay, because they are oppositely equal. Now this side CD is same as YZ. Okay, AB is same as WX. So सबसे पहले the main thing in this topic is you need to identify the corresponding sides and corresponding angles. Now this AD is same as WZ. Okay, now you can find out the missing angles and sides. They're saying angle ABC, angle WXY. So what is the measurement? It is 80 degree, right? So now the second part is angle XYZ. So this is angle XYZ. ये देखिए आपके सामने XYZ. So angle XYZ is same as angle BCD. ये चीज I hope so is clear. ठीक है, BCD. I have marked it with a single line. ये दोनों angles equal हैं. And what is the measurement? Measurement is 60 degree. Right? So now let's look at the third part. AD. This is AD. AD is, what is the corresponding side of AD? I have marked it with the three lines. It is WZ. And what are these two sides equal to? They are equal to 2 centimeter. Okay, so because they are congruent figures, so their corresponding sides and angles are equal. We just need to identify which side must be equal to which side on the in the other figure. Okay, so this also helps when you know it is a reflection, so you know where the corresponding sides would be. Now the last one, WX. So just look at this. This is WX. WX is corresponding to AB. Okay, so AB is equal to WX, which is equal to 4 centimeter. So beta, any question in this? Is it clear? So this baseline will be very helpful when we will start this topic in the class tomorrow, when we will do questions from this topic. Okay, so those attending the class right now, it would be really helpful tomorrow. Okay, so moving on to the next. Next figure. So now they are saying, given that ABCD is equivalent, इसको कैसे पढ़ना है? ABC is congruent to, ये मैंने अभी आपको बताया, the symbol is symbol of, तो इसको पढ़ते कैसे है? ABCD is congruent to PQRS. अब जो ही ये symbol या ये word आपको नजर आ गया, so you know all the corresponding angles and sides are equal. So now let's look at this one. So this is B angle is 90 degree. So this angle Q is also 90 degrees. So this is also, what is the type of movement in this? It's also a reflected shape. Okay, so reflection. Okay, now we will see angle C must be equal to angle R, but this measurement is not written. Now let's look at the sides. I'm using this is a well-defined symbols. So CD is its corresponding CD ki corresponding side is SR. Okay, so what is the corresponding side of BC? It is QR. Okay, what is the corresponding side of AB? It is PQ. Okay. So now what is the corresponding side of this AD? It is PS. I've used different symbols to highlight the corresponding side. Now what we need to do, we will just answer these questions. PQ is equal to AB. PQ is equal to AB, which is equal to 5 centimeter. So now SR, this side is same as CD, which is equal to 6 centimeter. Now just look at this PS. PS is same as AD. हमने पहले highlight किए हैं. AD, which is 2 centimeter. QR. Now what is QR? This is QR, the baseline. QR is same as BC, and this is equal to 5.3 centimeter. Now lastly, angle PQR is same as angle PQR is same as angle ABC, right? Which is equal to 90 degree. Right? I hope that makes sense. So, all right. So now moving on to the next question. All right. So now the question statement is different. They are saying identify the congruent triangles, right? So we need to find out which triangles are congruent and reason also. Okay. So before we start these, we need to know three, well, postulates I will explain in the class. So we need to find out. Now this is the other type of the question where we have to prove their congruency. हमने ये prove करना है कि these two triangles are congruent triangles. ठीक है? Explain your answers. ठीक है? So first of all, we need to find out the corresponding angles and sides. So I told you the method, you know, the layman तरीका. आपने क्या करना? आपने देखना जो two corresponding angles हैं उनके बीच में same side हो और जो दो sides हैं उनके बीच में angle भी same होना चाहिए. ठीक है? I will explain, and mathematically I will explain these properties tomorrow in the class so that maximum students can know this. ठीक है? अभी हम क्या करेंगे? हम एक simple method use करेंगे. देखिए 60 और 70 के बीच में it's 3 centimeter. यहाँ पर भी 60-70 के बीच में it is 3 centimeter. That's fine. अच्छा, now 3 centimeter और 3.39 centimeter के बीच में जो angle है that is 70. So that is also true. यहाँ पर भी ऐसे ही है. ठीक है? So now just look at this. पहले angles check करते हैं. 3.39 और 3.68 के बीच में जो angle बन रहा है that is 50. This is also fine. ठीक है? So corresponding angles we are checking. ठीक है? So now 60 degree is formed between 3 centimeter and 3.68. This is also fine. ठीक है? Now let's look at this one. 70 and 50 degree के बीच में 3.39 बन रहा है. So 70 और 50, this is also fine. ठीक है? Now the last one, 60 और 50 angle के बीच में, 60 और 50 angle के बीच में it's 3. So the movement is probably rotation. ठीक है? So and we have checked all the three angles and the three sides. So how we are going to explain it? How we are going to say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle? Because they are asking you to tell the congruency and explain it. Statement of congruency likhe. So we will write down in the A part, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Okay? Because all the corresponding, ये statement है congruency की. Okay? All the corresponding angles and sides, corresponding angles and sides are equal, right? So this is the answer of part 1. So how you will write down the congruent statement? You will say as triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR because all the corresponding angles and sides are equal. Okay? So now look at the second part. We need to see if they are congruent and not. So can anyone tell me what is this symbol? ये किस चीज का symbol होता है? Sorry, Harshman. What is this symbol?
Equal sides.
Equal sides. So if this side is 5 centimeters, इसका मतलब this side is also 5 centimeter. If this angle is 80, इसका मतलब this angle is also 80 because this is isosceles triangle. ठीक है? ये symbol ये हमें बता रहा है कि this is isosceles triangle. Two angles are same and two sides are same. ठीक है? Now just look at this one. अगर ये दो angles 80 हैं, तो this one cannot be 80. ये सिर्फ 20 degree का angle. Now just look at this figure. This angle is 90 degree. So do you think the corresponding angles are same? Sides को तो छोड़ दें. So one angle is 90 here and there is no angle 90 here. So what you will say that triangle DEF is not congruent to triangle STU. Why? Because corresponding angles are not same. ठीक है, corresponding angles are not equal. तो यही दोनों conditions ही met नहीं हो रही, तो how can these two shapes be same? ठीक है, so that is how you need to answer. So any question up till this point? Is it clear? All right, moving forward to the exercise question. Question number 1. So you need to tell me, because question number 1 is very straightforward question, which shapes are congruent? So please tell me the pairs which are congruent. Anyone? Congruent means when there is no measurement of angle and side, so we will say congruency means same shape and size. Okay, so which two shapes are congruent? Can you find any shape which is congruent to A?
No.
A and F.
A and
F.
F. A is congruent to F, so we are done with these two. ठीक है, और कौन सी movement है? It's rotation. ठीक है, so now what about B? Is B congruent to any other shape?
J.
B is congruent to J, so B is congruent to J. ठीक है, when the angle or side measurements are not there, so we will just see the shapes. And what movement is there? It is
Rotation.
reflection. Rotation भी हो सकती है और reflection भी हो सकती है. ठीक है, so what about C and E? They are congruent. What kind of rotation is there? Sorry, movement is there? Again, reflection. ठीक है, so reflection, it's a reflected image. Now what about D? D is congruent to any other figure?
G.
D is congruent to G. Very good. So D is congruent to G, and what can be the movement? It is rotation. Now what about, ये हमने सारे कर लिया. What about H? Is H congruent to any other figure? No.
Nope.
I cannot find any rectangle. So is I congruent to any other figure?
K.
K. Okay. So what about L? L is not having any similar figure. Similar, nahi, exactly same. Okay. So this is how it will work. So we are left with 3 more minutes. Let's solve given that PQRST, it's a pentagon, is congruent. ये आपको symbol नजर आ रहा है. It's congruent to W, Y, X, Y, Z. Complete the following. ठीक है. So you need to see what is the movement here. इन दोनों shapes के दरमियान movement क्या है? What is happening? Is it reflection, rotation, or translation?
Translation.
It is translation. Simply इस figure को यहाँ से उठा के यहाँ रखती है. So then this PT is corresponding side of this. This side is corresponding to this side. ठीक है. So now SR is corresponding to WX. बिल्कुल यही वाली चारों sides. Now this side is corresponding to this side, and this side is corresponding to this side. बिल्कुल translation हुई है ना. So all the corresponding sides are written. So now can you tell me PQ is same as VW? What is this equal to? Please keep telling me the answers. What is this equal to?
3.5.
3.5. ठीक है. So this is 3.5. You can see here. ठीक है. Now PT is congruent, is corresponding to VZ, which is 2 centimeter. Now QR, this is the QR base. This is corresponding to WX, which is equal to 3.5 centimeter. Now TS, this is TS, the diagonal line. TS is same as YZ, and the value is 2.1 centimeter. Now SR is corresponding to XY, which is equal to 2 centimeter. So lastly, angle PQR is same as angle
VWX.
very good, VWX, which is equal to 90 degrees.
90.
So if you can find out what kind of movement is there, so you can easily figure out the rest of the things. Corresponding sides or angles nikal hai, so then you can find out the rest. Okay? So that's all for today, bete. So we can discuss the remaining one question jo hum kal reh gaya tha in the class tomorrow.